Hi, I'm Don from DonDronesOn. Well, the updates to the Canadian drone regulations are out, and I'll be providing many videos over the coming weeks detailing the changes and what they mean. But right now, I want to focus on the big, ugly news. The surprise requirement for SFOCs for flying sub-250-gram drones at advertised events. Yeah, this came out of the blue. This wasn't in any of the proposals that have been available, discussed, and reviewed over the past 2 years. It wasn't hinted at in any of our meetings with Transport Canada, and nobody outside of Transport Canada that I'm aware of was consulted. Certainly not DPAC. So here's the thing. In the 2019 regulations, you could fly a drone weighing under 250 grams, including drones like the Mini 4 Pro or the DJI Neo, at advertised events without any special permission. An advertised event is any outdoor event advertised to the general public, such as concerts, markets, or sporting events. As long as you were flying safely, not endangering manned aircraft or people on the ground, you were good to go. And I, for one, did this all the time, filming parades, Remembrance Day events, and celebrations in the small community where I live. All for free, all to support the local community. I've never once had a complaint, never any problems, lots of praise, and lots of year-over-year requests. It was easy, it was fun, and it was safe. And I know I am not alone. Lots of drone pilots across Canada are filming local events, soccer games, festivals, bike races, boating events, protests, you name it, using sub-250-gram drones. There have never been any reported injuries or collisions with other drones or fistfights with other drone operators. Under the new rules, however, effective April the 1st, 2025, you will need a low complexity SFOC to operate a sub-250-gram drone at an advertised event. Currently, SFOC applications are free, but starting November the 4th, 2025, a low complexity SFOC application will cost $75. Am I going to pay $75 to film a Santa Claus parade? Am I going to ask the township to reimburse me for that? No, that'd be nuts. Transport Canada apparently took the word of a few stakeholders who said microdrones, which is what TC calls them, are frequently observed at advertised events and create safety risks for other RPAS operators and the public due to the constrained nature of the airspace at these events and the higher density of people on the ground. Really? Where's the data? Where's the actual evidence? To me, this sounds like complaints from commercial operators with larger drones who have a vested interest in having exclusive rights to the airspace. Show me proof, show me data, and maybe I could be persuaded. But wait, in the justification section for the new regulations, they actually say, you can't make this up. I quote, TC does not have access to data on microdrone usage or microdrone usage at advertised events. They actually say that. And yet, they slam the door based on a few comments? Absolutely ridiculous. Creating new regulations or restrictions based upon nothing more than hearsay without public consultation is not good government. Everything else about how the new regulations were rolled out was professional and reasonable. They announced a proposed set of changes, they held webinars to explain them, held discussion sessions, and gathered feedback by the bucket load. They justified things with data and facts. Okay, sure, some of the data was kind of suspect, maybe even laughable, but at least they were trying. This advertised event thing was exactly the opposite. No hint of the change in advance, no data or facts by their own admission, and no opportunity for discussion, consultation, or feedback. The entire thing seems to be based upon comments by a few people. And yet this rule will affect thousands, if not tens of thousands of drone pilots across Canada who use sub-250-gram drones to film local events in a low-risk, sensible way. And if you argue that this will stop people from flying recklessly around events by making them accountable, you're dreaming. People who are flying recklessly, and they are the vast minority, aren't the ones taking the time to understand and comply with the rules. Will needing an SFOC change anything? No. These small numbers will continue to fly recklessly, and there is very little enforcement, so very little to stop them. By the way, I've checked the Transport Canada enforcement database, and there are no documented cases of fines being handed out to anyone flying a sub-250g drone since the rules came out in 2019. Again, no evidence of a problem. So why the heavy-handed solution? It would be much better if Transport Canada spent more time and money on public education rather than reviewing useless paperwork from already safety-oriented drone pilots. During the regulatory feedback sessions, I suggested that Transport Canada stop requiring SFOCs for any drones at advertised events. I proposed that the event organizer instead be the one to give permission for drone flights. That keeps the decision-making local and sensible based upon the specifics of each event, rather than arbitrary decisions made by an unrelated, distant TC official. Sure, maybe develop some guidelines, but otherwise Transport Canada should get out of the way. That suggestion was rejected. So, what are we going to do? Well, DPAC is going to write a formal letter to Transport Canada requesting this SFOC requirement be rescinded. In the meantime, if you're intending to fly at an advertised event with your sub-250g drone, I would start by considering very carefully if the event even falls into the classification of being publicly advertised. If a sporting event is advertised on Facebook, for example, is that public? Or is it being advertised only to those members of a particular group? In which case it isn't an advertised event and doesn't need an SFOC. We're going to seek further clarification on this, but in the meantime, I would take the position that unless the event is advertised such that anyone could hear about it, it's not public. And if you think you'll be filming truly public events, consider applying for a blanket SFOC for a broad category of events across a regional area, perhaps, for the entire year. Include all the specifics you can, such as your model of drone, but keep it wide open. I'll be filming community events across Ontario using my Mini 4 Pro, for example. Explain your risk mitigation strategy, such as using Drone Pilot Canada to determine potential airspace risks, your plan to ensure launch and takeoff will be safely distant from bystanders, etc., etc. It's a massive pain in the butt, but hopefully there will be some example SFOC applications posted on the DPAC Facebook group that you can use as templates. Anyway, that's it for now. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, safe and happy flying.